Here we go. Let's do this. Oh, I started off a little early. Sorry about that. Welcome to the 42North 78West Sports Show, episode 34. I know it's a little bit of a surprise episode on a Wednesday, so I thank everyone for coming who is actually going to watch this episode. Thank you so much. The boys are here. Kevin, Alex. Yo, what's up, guys? Hey.
What's up? What up?
What's going on? Good. Also, Zach. Hey.
Hello, I'm back again.
And as our actually, you know what? I consider it second, but Zach, you were our first in studio guest, but we, you joined. So I mean, I really don't, I don't know if it counts.
I'm one of the 42North 78West.
Yeah, all right, but yeah, because you were in the studio as a guest, and then we were like, all right, you know what? Get him in.
One quarter of the fellas.
All right, so we have our guy who's visiting from Florida. He's, you know him. He's been on the show probably quite a few times already. He's from the English Encore podcast. Nick English, what's going on, my guy? Welcome to the studio.
Glad to be here.
The most recurringest guest.
That is true. You're very right. Very right. He's going.
I'm part of Sauce Mafia now.
You got to talk to our manager of that, Kevin over there. Yes.
You know what? It takes certain people to be a part of the Sauce Mafia, but if you root for Anthony Alfredo, we can make that happen. Right. But you can only root for Anthony Alfredo if you root for whatever other guy Zach talks about. I don't remember any names because I don't really pay attention. But just Anthony Alfredo is the only guy you root for.
Done deal.
That's the guy right there.
Sucks. Chase is my guy.
Kyle Busch, my boy Kyle Busch. Oh,
yeah, he won.
Yeah, he
won.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
All those names are irrelevant.
But Anthony Alfredo,
talk to me when your boy wins. Now. If he didn't get screwed by bad drivers who don't know how to drive or dirt track, who freaking races on a dirt track? God, never mind. It's coming from my roots, boy. Boy.
Nick, can you do me a quick favor? You just turn your mic a little bit. That's a little just right there, and then turn it down a little bit.
Talking to Mike.
There we go. All right, there. All right, make it. All right. My ADHD's like, yo, that mic's a little off. But thank you.
I got you.
All right, so if you guys are watching right now, the Buffalo Sabres have a new head coach. Oh wait, they actually just took off the interim. Now he's head coach. Don Granato.
Meatballs.
Is now the full-time head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. I'm guessing you guys knew this was coming from a mile away because why the Pickles do you think? Come on.
Probably because he's part of the mafia.
That's right. All right.
I was a little nervous that they were going to pull the trigger on Rick Tocchet, and I did not want that at all. I'm like, if that's what you're going to do, you might as well just stick with Granato. I was nervous for a second that that's what they were about to do, but they didn't. So we're happy, kind of. We're semi-pleased.
Semi-pleased?
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
We'll still have to see. We'll have to see.
Never satisfied.
Never satisfied.
I mean, the Sabres, I'll say, didn't screw up completely.
All right. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Nick,
we need you.
I mean, I was not surprised, like Alice said, as long as it wasn't Rick Tocchet. I was pretty pleased. Honestly, he's good with the young players. He's not proven as a head coach, so we'll kind of a wait and see. But at the same time, honestly, I don't think it really matters who the head coach is if they screw up the Jack Eichel situation. That's what it comes down to. If they part with him for less than what they get, or if they try to rush it instead of just keeping him and maybe getting his value up compared to what it is now. Whoever they hired, it's not going to matter if they screw that up because they're just going to put themselves way behind if they do anything. But I don't mind the Granato hire, honestly.
I agree with that.
Oh, that's good. You guys, anything else?
Yeah, I'm just so over getting excited for Sabres coaching hires.
That's where I'm in the same boat. I'm not jumping for joy right now.
No, I'm not saying anybody is. I'm just we're talking about another coach again. Right. Obviously, all off season is what we were expecting. They were gonna obviously hire a coach, but I don't know. It just feels like it's just so tiring.
But you know who should be coaching the Buffalo Sabres?
Not Lindy anymore.
Not anymore.
This ain't the roster.
Darn it.
This ain't the roster for it anymore.
No, definitely not.
No, that ship sailed.
Darn.
Well, I don't know. Go ahead, Kev.
No, I was just gonna say the one promising thing I guess you can say from Granato was
Darlene had a quote today which said, "His way to play was how I learned to play hockey, but the thing I felt was that he trusted me as a player. He really saw what my potential was, and I felt comfortable playing out there. I wasn't thinking too much." So I think just right there, that's huge. Just have your young guy, especially if you get rid of Eichel, Darlene's your most valuable player after that. You could argue Reinhardt depending on situation, but
yeah, he's gonna be gone too. So,
but yeah, exactly. So I mean, if your guy Darlene is your guy, he's happy. I mean, that's huge.
I mean, yeah, you have to bring out the best in your generational defenseman, and you know he's shown glimpses that he's going to be that generational defenseman. But you know, that's exactly it. Under Kruger, he just seems so like timid and afraid to like you know jump up into the plays and afraid to make a mistake and you know afraid of defensive lapses when you know it's just. You just have to give a guy like that the reins whenever he
let the young guys play.
Yeah, let the boys eat.
I like the contract though too. I think that's something they actually didn't screw up because I feel like in the past we've seen with Kruger and not just in NHL and sports in general, these new coaches are coming in and getting this 4 or 5 year deals that are unproven. Like it's a 3-year deal. It's not like a ton of money. Obviously, if when Eichel does leave, like you're gonna have time to rebuild. And him under a 3-year contract kind of gives you what you want in that if he really is good with developing these young guys in that 3rd year, the middle stats, the Cousins, the Darlenes, in 3 years from now, you hope that he's developed them enough to be a playoff team, but we'll have to see what happens with everything else, obviously.
Like, I think at this point, you might not even ever have to like fire Granato no matter like what the play is. I mean, unless we do start seeing the same thing like regression from guys like Darlene and that. But if we see what we saw at the end of last year from the young guys and they continue to grow, I think at the very least by the end of 3 years from now, you might not say like, or you might not be like Granato's the guy for the future. We got to keep him forever. But you might be at the point where like, all right, we might need to replace him, but that's to take another step forward. Like, I don't think by the end of next year or halfway through next season, we're going to be like, oh, we got to make a change. Because if you're going through another rebuild, like you might as well just keep rolling with Granato throughout those 3 years. Work on development over 3 years because you're most likely you're not going to be competing for anything over the next 3 years. So by the end of those 3 years, going into the 4th year is when hopefully, you know, if you get a couple more high draft picks over the next couple of years, you know, by the 4th year is when you'll be like, okay, let's take that step forward. And you can decide whether Granato's the guy that will take you the next step into competing for the playoffs, competing for the cup, or if you think we got to go all right, Granato did a great job developing these guys to get us to this point. We've shown improvement over 3 years, but now we might want to make a change, bring in someone that will get this team to the next level.
And I think too, like this is their first opportunity to actually rebuild correctly. Like when we tanked for Eichel, we had O'Reilly and Kane, these other guys, and then like year after year, we're kind of just bringing in pieces that you think, okay, this is going to be the year they can slip into the playoffs, whatever. Like you have a chance to kind of just blow it up and start completely fresh and develop young players and not have just a handful of veterans, some young guys. I mean, rushing Reinhardt, I mean, they wasted the 1 year with him at the beginning. You can let Luukkonen develop another year and you have like, they can do it right. And like you said, it's going to give them time to, if he's the right guy, then great. You can keep him long-term. And if not, and you want to make that next step and go get a coach that you think can put them over the top, then by all means.
Yeah. So I don't think Granato will end up being another contract on the Pagula's books to be paying someone to not work for the team again. Yeah. I think we will see Granato be the guy for this whole contract.
Ooh. Yeah, this will probably be the first coach that makes it through his contract, and Lindy didn't even, you know.
Oh, he made it through. Well, he made it through a few,
yeah.
But yeah, by the end, yeah, we had to fire him, but we didn't have to, but we did. But the one idea that came up earlier was that oh my god, I think it was Lance. No, it wasn't Lance Laskowski. I really can't remember who said it, but the idea of Philip Gronberg as an assistant from Sweden.
Yeah,
I love that idea. Working under Granato as an assistant, as an associate head coach under him, that gives him, that could be a perfect opportunity for him to come over and, kind of see the the North American game up close, and he can
pay his dues, so to speak.
yeah, and he's also a guy who's got head coaching experience of some sort, who could also he could help Granato in that sense as well. And being in a professional league over there, he's worked with all kinds of players. He's worked with young players. He's worked with veteran players. So I think that would be a perfect fit. He was always a guy that I would have been cool if he was the head coach. We brought him in, back when we hired Kruger. He was one of my top targets around that time. And then this time I wasn't hearing his name as much, so I didn't really expect it. But if that's an actual thing, if he's willing to come over to be an assistant on Granato's staff, I love that idea.
That's good. I was like, I'm over here like I have no idea what you're talking about. I know. Sorry.
Hey, that's why we're here.
That's why I got my hockey guys here.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, it's why you guys are here. I'm still lost. I was trying to get into this season, but one thing I do like is in less than a month, here comes the expansion draft and the NHL draft. So we're less than a month away. July 21st is the expansion, and July 23rd to the 24th is the draft. Is the actual
ESPN
draft
too.
Oh, so
ESPN got the whole crew set up,
wow,
ready to go.
Yeah, I saw that. They have a lot of names I wouldn't exactly have thought would be analysts. Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky of this. I mean, I think Gretzky was for a time, but I mean,
Yeah.
Guys like that, I never would. You wouldn't ever imagine. Oh, I'm gonna talk hockey now. Because Mark Messier doesn't need to be an analyst. I mean, sure he wants to be, but
who's the? Oh my god, I can't remember. Who's the LA Kings guy who does Sports Center all the time? Who's the hockey guy on Sports Center?
Oh, Melrose.
Yeah,
Melrose. Yeah.
Well, he's on. Yeah.
Is he gonna be there too?
He'll be on there.
Okay.
Buchagross is doing play-by-play. I want to say
Sean McDonough's doing play-by-play.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was another
I was
one that
surprised
was
to
cool.
see that. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he did much
I
hockey.
think he did a little bit of the play-by-play when ESPN last had the hockey coverage.
Like for the World Cup of Hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have. I vaguely remember it because it was several years ago now. It was like
I think it was him and Linda
2016,
Cohn.
but that sounds about right now. Yeah.
All right. At least we're gonna have no Mel Kiper at an NHL draft.
hot.
But that caught me off guard when I saw that, because I was like, in my mind with the whole ESPN deal and that, I was thinking like, all right, next season it's on. But then like they're hyping up for the draft too, and I'm like, oh, they're stepping in right away. And I'm like, this is pretty sweet, yeah. And them and Sportsnet are going to work together on that, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's really cool. So the expansion draft's coming up. So I don't think the Seattle Krakens are going to have the best draft, just like the Vegas did, when they made it to the Stanley Cup.
Well, I think
teams around the league are going to be a lot more careful this time around. I think they learned their lessons from the last time. They're going to be very more careful and
letting because I remember watching that story when it's like this Vegas got almost all these rejects that were like all good, and they got them all together and they got this magical season off of it. So
I mean, some of them who had like lesser roles on teams before just turned out to be studs, like William Karlsson, being one of them. No one expected him to become a number one center in the league, and he goes to Vegas and he was a stud right away for them.
So, I mean, on that topic, so we were just talking about before the show, what players the Sabres need to protect. So, we are probably all notable names are the top players, of course. And like now there's going to be, the end of the roster. There's some players that are going to have to say, we can't protect them. So, who are those guys?
The first name that pops off to me is Will Borgen. Because if you're still holding on to Ristolainen, I feel like you have to, if he's not gone by then, I feel like you have to protect him and not just lose him for nothing while you have a little value. But like Will Borgen's a guy that we saw briefly and looked good. Even Rasmus Asplund played really, really well for us in the bottom six at the end of the year. Like, are you really going to try to, no, they're not going to take Cody Eakin. Like, are you really going to let Rasmus Asplund go to them for nothing? I think the thing with Seattle this year, you're going to see them. Vegas did it a little bit. We gave Vegas a pick to not take Allmark, and they took Carrier from us.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to see a lot more of that now with teams that don't want to, like, they have these guys that they're not sure about and they don't want to see what happened with Vegas, like you guys just said. And they might say, I'll give you a third, a fourth round pick if you don't take this guy. But it really depends on what Kevin Adams can do before that. Because if, like I said, if Ristolainen, Reinhart, those guys, if you can't trade them, like you have to protect them. You can't lose those guys for absolutely nothing.
I know. No, I definitely think they'll protect. Well, I think they protect. I mean, I'm not even like obviously they're protecting Eichel, and then I think they protect Reinhart as well.
Yeah.
Still, Ristolainen is the tricky one. I'm like, if they don't think they're going to get something for him, if they don't think they could trade him, then I would absolutely just let it, not protect him. But if they think, we still can, get something of decent value for him, then I think they protect him. But then, like you said, that risks them giving up Will Borgen or
New Jersey
Rasmus
rumor
Asplund.
a few weeks ago about Ristolainen too.
Yeah,
but
that's really the only name that's really the only name I've heard that has like any sort of interest in him. If you end up doing that, then you're risking losing a young guy like Borgen or Asplund that we saw and we liked a lot. Unfortunately, we didn't see Borgen as much because he got injured, but Asplund was very promising. I'm a little nervous that we're gonna end up losing one of those guys, unfortunately.
Gergenson's is kind of
like
a wild card too. I honestly keep forgetting he's even on our roster because he missed the entire last season.
I mean, I don't mind Gergenson's, but just for salary wise and the fact that I do think he is replaceable, I would obviously much prefer them to take him over Rasmus Asplund.
Sure.
Asplund's much cheaper and he will give you similar production, I think. I unfortunately think we will lose a guy like an Asplund or a Borgen potentially. I hope, but
Zach, you add on to that?
I don't even know Eichel and Reinhardt are both still going to be here by the time the expansion draft rolls around. So then, if that's the case, if those pieces are coming back, you might have to protect them. Then
that's true too.
That just brings a whole nother conversation to the table, which I think it would be better for Adams to get that out of the way before the expansion draft happens, so he doesn't really. I mean, he'll have to worry about it, but it won't be such a short timetable then. Or
I guess,
or yes, protect him until after the expansion draft. But
well, I mean, if you don't trade him by the expansion draft and you have to protect him, I mean, then essentially anything's on the table because going into the expansion draft, if you trade for him, depending on how many pieces you get in return that would be eligible for the expansion draft, that's something else you'll have to consider in that case. So, but I think if you wait till after the expansion draft, then it's like, all right, that's out of the way. Now we can take whatever pieces we want in return for Eichel. We don't have to worry about, them getting protected or, you know what I mean? Because if you get one of them in return, that if there's a player in there that you got in return that is eligible, you're going to want to protect them because you don't want to just get this piece for Jack Eichel and end up potentially losing him for nothing in a few days or whatever.
Yeah, and while you're saying that, who's to really say that Adams and trading GM doesn't have wouldn't have a handshake agreement before the expansion draft, then executed on draft day when everything's said and done.
That's fair too. But I mean, at the same time though, most of the pieces that come back in the Eichel deal will be younger pieces, so mostly won't be eligible anyway. But just still in case you get like a mid-aged, established young NHLer still who would be eligible, then you would obviously have to protect them. So it's I don't know, it's a tricky situation. I don't necessarily think that the expansion draft should rush Adams to protect them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you did trade him before then, that might give you a couple extra players that you didn't think you would have been able to protect before, and all of a sudden you can protect, like an Asplund, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know how he's gonna handle it.
What do you guys think about I feel like there's been so much out there of what teams are willing to offer. I mean, between Elliot Friedman and Darren Dreger, they've been putting out these reports of even today they said, Anaheim is maybe not as into Eichel as people are making it out to seem. Obviously the talks of the Kings aren't really in. Apparently the Rangers saying Condre Miller and those players are off the table, which is all right, hang up the phone, Kevin Adams.
Yeah.
But then there's other reports saying that Sabres want at least 4 pieces back, which is okay, that's what I want. But what do we realistically think this? Because in our heads, I feel like we're all you need to get 3 minimum. To me, I'm not trading him for just Zegras in 3 personally, Because, like, yes, Zegras is a good prospect, and 3 can be Hughes, Eklund, whoever. But those are like, you know what you have in Jack Eichel. And not saying those guys can't be great or them together can't maybe equal what Jack does, but it's just such a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we think that they're actually going to be able to get the 3/4 piece they need, or do you think they're ending up going to have to settle for just 2 pieces?
I hope to God he doesn't back down from that asking price. Yeah. I don't think he should. I think you keep that asking price up until someone offers it. If you have to go into the season with them, you do it. I don't care.
I seriously can't believe Chris Drury is trying to say that like Keandre Miller and Alex Lafreniere is off the table. Like, it's Jack Eichel.
That's laughable. Yeah. Just say you don't need Jack Eichel. Just say that, we're not interested. If you're going to say that, just say, we're just going to keep our young guys and groom them.
Yeah.
Just come out and say that. Don't come out and say, well, yeah, we would love to get Jack Eichel, but we don't want to give up this. No,
because
just say you don't want.
You just sound stupid.
You do.
Honestly, you just sound stupid.
Exactly.
You just can't have a Ryan O'Reilly 2.0. Like, they rushed that when that happened.
Exactly,
He's like, I want out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, locker room cancer. We got to end this quick.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, even if Jack doesn't want to be here, like, he's under contract. Like, he's going to show, like, he loves hockey enough that I think he's still going to show up regardless if he's still here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not giving him away for just nothing and just ruining the franchise even worse than it is now.
Yeah.
But
I'm not.
I agree with all your points for sure.
I'm not taking less than fair value until, like, you absolutely can't. Like, if it waits until, like, his no movement clause comes in, then so be it. It comes out of your hands, then you gotta take what you can. But don't take what you can before you lose, like, before all of a sudden you don't have that leverage. In my opinion, I'm not taking anything less than fair trade value until it's out of your hands. In my opinion.
Do you want to add something, Sebastian?
I really got nothing. I just know the dates and I know expansion drafts.
Well, the last thing I kind of want to add with the Sabres, as far as, like, I feel like at first when, like, I think it's more obvious that Jack Eichel is going to be gone. It's like, all right, you have to move him before next year because that's when his, no trade clause kicks in. He can give you, like, the 10 teams, whatever, and we'll kind of get screwed maybe like Taylor Hall is. But at the same time, even if he gives you that 10 list, like, the 10 teams on that list that he won't get traded to is what, like, the Canadians, like, not even, they're in the cup right now, but like the Senators, Red Wings, or I don't even know if it's like a full no trade where he kind of gets to pick the team. But even if he gets to pick the team, that team still has to give you a ton of assets back to, like, make it work.
Right.
Like, either way, he's under contract, and you don't have to trade him. If he wants to sit out, let him sit out, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I'm at as a final note.
Yeah, I'm in that boat too.
Oh man,
there's so much on the line with this. Like you said, the O'Reilly thing, they can't let that happen again. It cannot happen again.
It's already one of the worst trades in NHL history.
Yeah, you cannot. You simply can't do that again. No. You're already the laughing stock of the league. You think it can't get worse? It can totally get worse.
No, it can't get worse. It can't, right? It can't.
Yeah.
It certainly can.
It can get worse.
It's gotten worse and worse.
It gets worse every year.
I know.
Every time we think it's gotten worse.
We're at the bottom. The only thing from now is to go up. We've hit rock bottom.
Nope. There's another team next year.
They're gonna start digging more.
They can finish 32nd.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
We were already the first team to finish 31st.
Yeah.
So
it's like the scene from Moneyball, and he's like, there's all these teams up here, the New York Yankees of the world, and there's 50 feet,
50 feet of crap, and then there's us. I love that Moneyball. Thank you for staking a Moneyball.
We're the last dog at the bowl.
Moneyball. Thank you. All right. I'm back. So NBA basketball. I know because we could go on this the whole night. So the NBA. So the Hawks took the win last night. Also, the Antetokounmpo kind of heavy. Was it a left knee injury? I think right now.
You actually nailed that name.
Oh my gosh, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Of course, I know how to say that one. Come on, I can say. Wow! Thanks. Thank you. My brain was actually able to comprehend that one. All right. By the way, but honestly, I'm not too worried about the Bucks because they have Middleton. Now Middleton could take the court. Antetokounmpo, yes, he can. He does his.
Sebastian,
did he say what?
If Giannis does not play another game in this series, it is over.
No.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Do it. I'm not worried
You know what
about
Giannis brings?
Oh.
He brings 28 points per game
Okay.
at about 12.7
Oh,
rebounds, 5
5,
steals,
6,
a block and a steal during these
7.
playoffs.
And a
8,
12-second free
9.
throw.
If you're
right?
replacing Giannis with more minutes
11,
from Pat Connaughton,
12,
Bobby Portis, and
13.
Bryn Forbes,
Yes.
you're not you're not matching that production.
Could happen though.
No.
Anything could happen, but that's just not something that's likely to happen.
I think they could still maybe get by the Hawks. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if they. I still don't know if
They won't
do.
make it. Yeah, they won't win.
They're not winning the finals.
I mean,
because the Suns are gonna win. I mean, just saying.
after last night, the Hawks.
Alright.
Lou Williams. You guys see Lou Williams out there yesterday?
Oh.
They didn't even have Trae Young, and
Sweet
they
Pepper Lou.
they won by what 20 yesterday.
Cam
Yeah.
Reddish is back.
Cam Reddish.
So all right. So I'm worried about the Bucks. All right, I got it now.
But I mean, with Giannis, he has no structural damage, which is surprising because
Yeah.
his knee bent so much. I was like, had to have been an
I thought
ACL,
he was
but
done for sure.
yeah. So I mean, I doubt he can make it though.
You know what?
for-
They gave him some ice and they said, "Give it 2 days, you'll be back."
yeah, but I doubt he'll be ready to finish the series.
probably not. Yeah,
He's not a hockey player.
No,
no.
Did you guys see Brendan Gallagher the other night? Oh, jeez. Anyways,
that's a hockey guy.
I
back to
I
basketball.
do respect Giannis for going back out and sitting on the bench though. Like most other
Mm-hmm.
players won't do that.
Like LeBron, who leaves
Yeah.
games like 5 minutes
he
early.
start crying.
I think the one player that's forgotten about in the Hawks Bucks series though, and I think probably because I think in the Miami series, like it didn't really matter that he got hurt because they just beat the bricks off the Heat, which I was there for Game 4. So, but Dante DiVincenzo, because when he's not there, I mean he's a starting player. I mean PJ Tucker is good for them defensively when he starts, but like now you're having Pat Connaughtons and like those guys coming off the bench where DiVincenzo eats up so much, and he's a good defender too.
Good defender, can shoot.
And like that's another guy that can throw at Trae Young, which I think Trae Young is gonna be fine. The way he was jumping up and down on the sidelines, his foot looked okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if Giannis can't play, I just don't. Middleton and Holiday haven't given you consistent enough every single game to make you think that they're gonna be able to outmatch. I mean, even with Giannis playing yesterday, the Hawks are still beating the bricks off the Bucks for the entire game, even when he got hurt.
I feel like the Bucks, their only chance is if they go at Trae Young every single possession, because I don't know why teams haven't really been doing that either. No one's going at Trae Young. Trae Young's not a good defender, but teams aren't really going at him.
They didn't do like last year in the finals. You saw with the Lakers, every possession they were hunting Hero and Robinson on defense.
Mhm.
Every possession. And the one thing that me and my cousin talked about last week was if you noticed in the last 2 games, the Bucks have once Trae shoots it, a Bucks player is just sprinting down to the other end of the court and like almost cherry picking because they're getting free baskets. Because before they were kind of like just letting him shoot and then they're all standing around. But by sending a guy back, now Trae's thinking, okay, if I miss and I'm not back, they're getting free layups every time.
Right.
And that happened all throughout Game 3.
Hmm.
And obviously you didn't see it as much last game because Trae wasn't there, so it was just a completely different vibe. But they started doing that, which I thought was smart because honestly, Mike Budenholzer hasn't done a lot of smart things in the playoffs in the past, but that was one of them.
Whoa.
That was one of them.
That's true.
Actually, I want to pick speaking because you're wearing a New York Knicks shirt. Patrick Ewing was on the big podcast with Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaquille O'Neal was talking about how the Knicks aren't back, and Patrick Ewing they got into a quick argument saying, yes, no, the Knicks have one more piece they can get into the top 3.
One more piece. That's
Damian Lillard.
if you get Damian Lillard, that changes a lot.
Shaq was going off. He's like, Patrick Ewing, you might be my idol, but that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
I mean, you get Damian
Yeah.
Lillard, it's
Yeah.
gonna be huge. But I mean,
He wants
does
out.
it win you a championship? Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
And does it beat Brooklyn though? A healthy Brooklyn Nets team. That's where I'm like,
Yeah, that team might get. I swear that team might get broken up by next season. I don't know.
they
It's
can't stay
They
healthy.
got one more run, I think.
If
But
Joe
One more?
Harris shoots the way he did in the playoffs, there's a good possibility that you could beat him.
Yeah. And if
Or
Kyrie
Dwight.
has his usual yearly injury that he usually has,
And
then, yeah.
DeAndre Jordan getting paid $10 million to sit on the bench.
Was he even hurt or was he just?
They didn't play him.
Yikes! Yikes!
DeAndre Jordan was good on the Clippers, man. And then remember the whole span with the Mavericks, man. That was the funniest thing, man. And then he ends up going to the Mavericks anyway. Come on, DeAndre Jordan. Come on, man. So that's all I want to bring up. So I got to talk about your Knicks, Kevin. They always got to be brought up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good to talk about.
Anthony Alfredo too, but
Yeah. Well, we talked about that on Monday. So
All
I
right.
don't think anybody's raced.
no
lately,
one's raced in the past 2 days.
Yeah. So
So I think another thing I want to bring up real quick is this is a big announcement was the NCAA endorsement.
Did we
deal.
talk about the Sun series yet?
You did.
Did we?
no.
Oh,
we didn't even-
wait,
yeah.
oh my god, you're right.
We did not touch on
I
that.
brought up the gang that's saying they're
Zach's not even the basketball guy. Here.
I was
over
paying
that.
attention. I
No,
mean,
all
sorry
right,
about
the Suns are up 3-2 on the Clippers, which is it is a fun series to watch because the
Surprising.
surprise, yeah. Devin Booker, his stats got a little affected with that mask on. Some players play better with the mask. You ever seen that in history before? They'll put
Yeah.
the mask on, and all of a sudden they just start playing lights out.
Well, I mean, Rip Hamilton did that his whole career.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
didn't Kobe wear a mask for a little bit?
yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Yep.
Yeah, LeBron.
I wish he could
Oh
wear
my
a different color than the clear, but they made that dumb rule where it has to be the clear one.
I'm Bane.
Remember that because they
LeBron
had
wore the
it.
black mask and they haven't worn one since because the NBA changed the rule. You have to wear a clear mask, which is just dumb.
Boo.
Imagine Devin Booker with like an orange or a purple mask.
Be sweet.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What if you had a gorilla mask to fit with the mascot? Because of their mascot?
What if you had a Bane mask?
There you go.
See, now we're cooking with gas.
What was I gonna say about that series? I mean, it would be
Game 6 tonight.
yeah, no, I don't know what the series would have been like if Kawhi Leonard would have been playing. I don't know how.
It might be 3-2 the other way.
It might. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They might be have been up like maybe 3-1 either too, because Kawhi Leonard when he plays in the playoffs, he just plays unbelievable.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Unreal.
yeah, I don't know. It's just it's crazy to see like guys like Reggie Jackson stepping up. I mean, he's gonna get paid this offseason.
Oh,
Some
I
team's gonna throw money at him now that he's playing well.
Yeah, because
Patrick Beverly too.
Yeah.
Seeing
Zubac
it-
is out tonight though.
That's
again.
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah,
That's
he's
gonna be a
out.
big
Reggie
loss for
Max.
them.
yeah. 'Cause you see just DeAndre Ayton's just
Yeah.
dominating. So that's
But
another thing to
The
watch.
funny thing with Reggie Jackson is like a guy like that probably like the way he's played is going to deserve money. And then I saw the report that Dennis Schroeder's looking to get like $100 to $120
Oh,
million. So I'm just
That-
like, what?
Nick's big offseason splash, Reggie Jackson, baby.
Hell, again, your team gave up 2 first-round picks for Nikola Vucevic just to miss the playoffs, and now the Magic have your top 10 pick this year.
Vucevic is a good player.
He's good, but he didn't even help you guys get to a playoff spot. You guys were like the same team.
It wasn't a 1-year move.
Well, you
It's
don't
for,
just trade
year after.
2 first-round picks, especially one being a top 10 pick.
They
Just
don't need it.
totally Chicago.
8th overall.
Chicago
Totally Chicago.
8th overall.
Yep.
Let us
Eighth
know.
overall
Let us
pick.
talk to me when you're a playoff team.
We've had enough 7th, 8th overall picks.
So what if the Suns blow another 3-1 lead with Chris Paul?
That'd be
Chris Paul might have to retire.
You'd have to blame playoff P then.
He's not playoff P anymore.
He's
He's
playoff
Oh.
Paul.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
you got to give him a new nickname.
It's weird too because honestly, since Chris Paul's came back, the Suns haven't played as good.
No, honestly.
No, yeah.
And I don't think that's like a shot at Chris. I do think like the first game back, you could tell like he was just gassed, like he was getting his legs back under him because I mean he was just sitting around. I mean he probably wasn't just sitting around, but
No.
you're not in game, not
No,
for
you-
playoffs at least. It's just like weird timing and like I feel like it kind of threw off their whole rhythm because they're going in the conference finals really hot, like all things are clicking, and then Chris Paul goes out for 2. They steal 2 games. I mean, the first game they won pretty convincing, and then game 2 they get the lob with DeAndre Ayton, and they win that game. But honestly, if they don't win tonight, I think they could be in trouble game 7.
I think the momentum changes completely if they
Yes.
lose.
Even back in Phoenix, like
And even the game they did win with Chris Paul, they only scored 82 points.
that
game
a
was just
brick fest.
gross. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that was
It
awful.
looks like me playing at the beach.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I mean,
the 5 of us might be able to put up more points than that.
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
Probably not.
Let's
but
get the basketball. Let's go now. All right.
if one,
Down
if
to
one
the
of us
beach.
gets hot though,
Yeah.
you never,
Hey, we all know about me. Hey, remember you guys
Hey.
just get scared sometimes. Remember? Okay,
What?
come on, Alex. You guys know
About what?
when I go on those hot streaks and stuff, and then you guys couldn't leave me open sometimes.
Crickets.
Oh my! I know. I am getting crickets right now. They know about my ball game. They know about it.
I don't know if we do.
Remember, I was nicknamed the Intimidator. You know, I'm going to move on from that.
I don't remember that either.
They can make stuff up, Sebastian.
If this was supposed to be scripted, we did not go over this.
Zach, I think you need to change your whiteboard real quick.
The Intimidator.
Man, you ain't Dale Earnhardt.
Sebi the Intimidator.
Damn it.
Didn't you want to talk about the NCAA guys?
I did want to talk
Go
about the
ahead.
NCAA. I did. I actually did, because you know what? The NCAA has been talking about for years that college players should be getting paid, or at least given a. I mean, they're not getting paid by the school, but they can finally get paid by brands, and they could probably star in commercials now. They can put their face on a cereal box now and stuff like that. It's about because also there was an argument, because you just saw the post. I saw on Instagram, the post was now there's gonna be like probably a bidding war, like who's gonna be on NCAA 22.
Yeah, they don't have to use a player that's leaving college and going to the NFL. They don't have to do that anymore.
No, they don't. Now they're gonna actually use an actual star, NCAA player, and which it's gonna be cool, pretty cool. The thing is, there are so many NCAA players. I feel like the only ones that are going to get endorsement deals are the ones that are the top players. I mean, I get it. Like maybe like, if you're a small town guy, you can get like maybe a car. I mean, maybe they get a car commercial or something like that. That's probably, they could make a few $100. Yeah, not bad at all.
Why not?
Why not? Right? Because, if you're doing their homework, they just sit in their dorm, like go film a commercial. Get paid? Why not?
I mean, you get like small college towns, with a lot of small businesses in the area. They can, they can easily, like, they could go right to the football team, and they can message, anyone on the team, and they can use them now in a commercial that would really only air locally, but it'll put some money in the kid's pocket. Yeah,
I do see you. I would see UB doing it. I would see you, like, some small business in Buffalo getting a UB player to do an endorsement deal. I do see that coming. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they have to be really good, because, like, if you think about it, like, they have the Bills and the Sabres, the Bills have Josh Diggs, all these names and faces. The Sabres for now have Jack, and they'll have Cousins, Middlestat. I mean, there are guys that that businesses would probably pull from there first.
That's a good point Devin just brought up.
Yeah,
the Twitch streamers. Yeah, a lot of guys stream on Twitch. A lot of athletes. So
your mom's on Twitch.
There was it was a couple years ago.
I was reading the one above it, but I guess we'll not talk about that one.
I remember there was a kid a couple years ago who
we're past that.
Yeah, we moved on.
You had your chance.
I did have my chance.
There was a kid a few years ago. I think he played for UCF.
Oh, the YouTube channel,
he made money from his YouTube channel, and he lost eligibility from that. Like, now that doesn't have to happen anymore, which is awesome.
Well, the other thing I think that becomes really interesting now is, does this change some of the top tier guys that are maybe draft eligible right away to stay in college for a year or two longer and make more money? Because say you take, I don't want to use like Alabama or Georgia, take I don't even know, like a Coastal Carolina, they had a really good year, like a mid, 10 to 15 range college player on a good team. Does that player stay, 3-4 years now instead of 1 to 2 to get more endorsements? Because even if they're good enough to go to the NFL, it's not like, unless you're Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, like, you're not getting like major endorsements. Like, maybe you'll get some on the side, but if you stay in college and like rep your school and rep the NCAA and you're still like the big man on campus, like, I feel like you're going to see some players do that more. I mean, I feel like basketball maybe not as much, because now they have like the G League team where you can like go and you get paid a ton of money, and you can mark themselves that way, or go overseas like LaMelo Ball did. But I think it just adds like a different dynamic to some of the borderline first round picks and just like different sports that maybe are like, I'm going to stay a year longer and just make a ton of money on the side, which I think they can deserve to. I mean, they make half the money for a lot of the schools, and they get endorsed and like, or all their stuff's on posters, and they'd never get any money for it. So.
And it's not like they have time to work a part-time job on the side or anything.
Exactly.
And so like, so like the point you were making, like, about like, draft eligible players. Like you see a lot of players who like as soon as they're eligible, no matter really where their stock is, you like because like there's some players who might come from just rough upbringings and don't have much money, and they want to they need the money, they want to give money for their family and stuff like that. But now they might now that they can make some money on the side, they might be like, what, I'll stay another year, bet on myself to improve my draft stock so I can go even higher next year. So you see some players that like I said, that just leave too early just because they really need the money.
Like Cardell Jones, kind of like a prime example. I feel like he had that one long national championship run. I don't think he's getting told he's going to be like a top 2-round pick, but he's like, I'm going to get drafted in rounds 3 through 5. Like, I got to go take this money. Where if this rule's in place, then maybe he just comes back. He's big man on campus. He's plaster all over.
Oh, he would
sports.
He would have cashed in
everywhere.
And it's like everywhere. And then he could have continued to develop, and maybe he doesn't end up the way his NFL career. I mean, maybe it does, but you don't know that. So
that's a good point. Good point, man. That's right. Zach, did you have anything else on that?
None of that.
No? Good? All right. I think that really wraps up show. Anyone else got anything else? No?
Yeah.
Oh, we got one more. Oh.
NC State got bounced from the NCAA tournament over the weekend for having correct me if I'm wrong here, but they had 13 guys eligible on the roster for the one game that they lost, and they had to forfeit another one, and that was their elimination game, so they got bounced. But there's packed stands, nobody's getting tested, nobody's wearing masks.
Yeah.
So if I have the nuts and bolts of it, that's why everyone's mad.
Yeah.
That's kind of
and
that's kind of
rightfully so.
That's kind of the gist I got from it. Yeah, that's just unfortunate for NC State. Like that, a legit shot to
champion.
they were probably gonna win it. Yeah.
I think
I'd say it would have been between them and Vandy.
I think they beat Vanderbilt 1-0 earlier in the tournament, or maybe earlier in the
that
season.
was when that was
Yeah.
the Jack Leiter game where
because he pitched a gem. Leiter pitched an absolute gem and still lost.
Yeah.
It's
just like, and like Zach just brought up, I mean, I actually, like, when I was in Florida, literally on Sunday, we went to the Rays game, and it's like, oh, like, if you're fully vaccinated, like, you can just, you don't have to wear your mask, whatever. And like, I am, but like, you go in, no one's checking you.
right.
Like, you walking around, someone doesn't have a mask on, like, you don't know if they are or aren't. Like, who cares if they are? And like, you just said, the full pack stand of 10, 15,000 people, no mask, nothing. Like, who cares? Like, just let the players play. Like,
right.
Yeah. It's
like if their season's over and they have COVID, they can take the 14 days after. Like, I don't know. That's just me personally, but
Yeah, I can.
And I mean, were the players vaxxed, or did they? I don't know if they said anything about that. Like,
I don't believe they were.
No.
Okay,
And I feel like the NCAA is almost like made it look like they should be like pushing it on them too because of the situation. It's like,
man, what a what a weird. That's
Tough,
that's a tough. Yeah, it's a tough and
tough situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
tough look for the NCAA.
yeah. Because that's why they had to. You know what? They had to release good news.
They also tweeted that out at like, was it like 2 a.m. or something?
Yeah,
that tweet came out of like,
God.
like they're not disqualified or like they have to forfeit their game. I was like, all right, yeah.
Also, like, were they
2 a.m.?
I don't know. Were they
on
supposed
Twitter.
to? I don't remember if they were supposed to play after, like, I think like Texas and Mississippi State, because they were like in the 9th inning of their game, Texas Mississippi State, and then that went into a rain delay. And this was at like 1 a.m. I remember seeing in the bottom corner of ESPN that they were in a rain delay. I was like, wow. And I'm like, and I checked on that, and then I heard about that. So I was like, wait a minute, were they supposed to play after them? So they were going to start late, like, because I know they did that with softball at one point, but softball was a little different because they were like really pushing the games out. Like they were playing 2-3 games in a day, I think, or at least 2.
Yeah.
But still, like that is a dumb way to do it too, or just a terrible way to hear about it as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that really wraps up our show. We've done a full show. I thought this would be a quick show, but we did it today. Did a whole show. I want to thank Nick coming on. It's
a lot of fun.
it's a beautiful, beautiful day in Buffalo. Not really. I mean, it's actually kind of windy. So, I mean, actually got to cool off right now, right? Because you were saying it's like 90 degrees.
Really hot in Florida, humidity.
Yeah,
But
so
first thing I did off the plane was get Mighty Tacos. So
nice. That's always. Did you miss it, man? Did you really miss that?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Better than Taco
Fair
Bell,
enough.
right?
Fair enough.
Very, very
All right. See you guys all later.
Peace.
Peace.
Love you guys.